Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a really interesting video, at least I think so. I'm going to be comparing two really popular palettes, and I was honestly a little bit shocked that I found so many dupes within those palettes. By the title of the video, you can probably already guess what I'm going to be talking about. But I have the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette over here, which I've had for a while now. And the Morphe 39A that I recently bought, well, not so recently, but I just got a chance to play around with it not that long ago, and I have a video either already up or coming up with it doing this eye look. I will link that down below if it's up. So I have a little list here. I already did some swatching when I was comparing them, but I'm going to be swatching in front of the camera. I have my makeup wipes ready to wipe them off. But yeah, I found about 8. And to be honest, like the Jaclyn Hill palette, when she did her video, please correct me if I'm wrong, but she kept saying how, you know, she made these colors for the palette, and I completely understand that you can't, you know, like every color pretty much has been done. Like you can't just like come up with a super different unique color unless it's like in some metallic duochrome type thing, right? But for the most part, everything's been done, right? From the same brand, if I see a palette that you're saying you made specifically for this palette, and then the same brand comes out with another palette, and I find like 8 dupes in that palette from this palette that was, you know, custom made, like I wouldn't want to see that in another palette. I can understand if it's like a transition shade or, you know, something like that, but like if you made this specifically for this palette and it's here, I don't really want to see it when I buy another palette. And it's not even like a couple of shades. I did find like 8 of them. So anyway, that's enough rambling. Let's just go ahead and start with the swatches. The shade Chip is really similar, if not the same, as the shade Expression. By the way, all the shades that I found that were similar are pretty spot on, with the exception of just one that I was like, okay, that's similar enough, but it's not quite the same. But all the rest that I found are pretty much the same. So Chip from the Jaclyn Hill palette and Expression from the 39A. I have Chip on this finger, and I'm going to do the 39A on this one just to keep things consistent. So one thing I will say is that the Jaclyn Hill palette does feel more, I don't want to say chalky, but like dusty almost, and the 39A does feel a little bit more smoother and creamy. So these are the 2 shades here on my finger, and I'm going to go ahead and swatch them on my arm. There's like the slightest, sorry, I don't know how to hold my arm up. There's this, like, I don't know if you guys can tell, like they didn't swatch all that great, but you can tell they're pretty much the same. One seems a little bit more brownish than the other, but I feel like this is one of those scenarios where once you apply it to your eyes, you're not really going to be able to tell the difference and be like, oh yeah, that's the one shade from the Jaclyn Hill palette. I don't think you'll be able to tell that easily. To me, those are like the same. Next, we have Firework and Spark. Oh, and I do have my makeup wipes. They're gonna come in handy today. I'll just be wiping my arm off every single swatch, or at least my fingers. Can you tell me which finger is from which palette? That's right, you can't, because they're the same. I'm swatching them side by side. This is gonna be so awkward. Oh my gosh. Those right there. Sorry if this is like really awkward. You honestly can't even tell the difference. This is literally a dupe. It's the same shade. Look at that. Same. And they're both like this, like I said, cranberry, not cranberry, but like a reddish, brick-ish, shimmery color. Like I said before, I don't mind if I see the same shade in another palette from a completely different brand. But this is the same brand, and with shades that were specially made for the Jaclyn Hill palette. And don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against her, and you know, it's a business. Like, don't hate them personally, but for such a special palette that was custom made, I don't want to see the same shades in another palette. Next up, we have Queen and Artistic. And I wasn't 100% sure if I wanted to include this because there's a slight difference in them, but when swatched, it's not that big of a difference. This is Jaclyn Hill. And then this is the 39A. One does seem a little bit darker than the other, but I feel like the undertone of both is the same. The undertone to me is the same, even though the color itself is a little bit, one is darker than the other. They are both really bronzy. Like I said, I wasn't sure if I wanted to include this one just because they're not exactly the same color, but I feel like they're similar enough. And the undertone's the same. So there's that one. This is probably not my best comparison, but it's okay. Next we have, what is it? Pineapple and Trendy. Those to me are literally the same color. This is from the Jaclyn Hill palette. And this is the 39A. The two are literally the same. You could argue that one is a little bit more purple, but to be honest with you, like I was saying before, there are certain shades that might look like just a touch off, but once you put them in your eyes, you're not going to be able to tell the difference. I don't know. To me, those are dupes. And I do like both palettes. I've been using my Jaclyn Hill palette for a while now. I do like it. Nothing against her or the palette, just comparisons that I found. And yeah, I don't want to see the same shades in another palette. Those are the same shades. What's next? Soda Pop and Slice. Again, Jaclyn Hill on this finger. I'm gonna do those swatches first. That didn't even swatch all that great, but that's okay. I know the swatches aren't the best. I'm gonna just show you guys my finger because they're not swatching that great. Really similar shades. I'm gonna try again. Yeah, these two don't swatch all that great. But there they are. Literally the same. They're like a really dark purple kind of eggplant color. Almost black, but not quite. But yeah, same shades really. Next up we have Silk Cream and Bear. Let me flip. I'm not super mad at this dupe just because it is a transition shade and you kind of need those. I'm gonna do one more swatch and then I'll be wiping my arm off, but there we go. We're gonna move on to this arm now because no more space. We have Hunts and Vibrant. This one you might be able to tell just a touch when I swatch them, but honestly not that big of a difference. I'm gonna do my hand for this one. Jaclyn Hill palette. 39A. This one I wasn't sure if I wanted to include in the swatches just because the one over here is definitely more red and you can kind of tell, but I don't know how much you'll be able to tell in the eyes. Just want to say that it is not the same, but it is really close. It's just a shade that I thought was similar enough that I wanted to include here. And I think this is the last one that I have. It's Jax and Passion. Those swatches got a little messy because I was trying to build them up. But as you can see, they're pretty similar. Again, not 100% dupes. But to me, that's like close enough. Okay, so besides those two, I feel like all the other ones are too similar, if not 100% similar. Like this little orangey copper ones are really similar. The reds over here, the dark ones right here, and the transition ones. The other few are a little bit different but similar enough, like too close in my opinion. Like this one, and I know you can definitely tell a difference between this two, but it's just like way too similar. But anyway, like I said before, I don't have anything against Morphe or Jaclyn Hill. The only issue I had was that I was looking at my two palettes together and I'm like, oh, I have like 8 of the same shades. in a palette that's supposed to be custom made. I will continue to use both palettes because obviously I have them. I do like them. I feel like they work really nicely. I just tried this one for the first time, and the few shades that I did use I really enjoyed. Like I said before, I will link the video to the eye look. But yeah, I feel like I sound like a broken record at this point, but if you have eyeshadows that are custom made for a palette that you're doing a collab with, I just don't want to see the same brand coming out with the same colors in a new palette, because those are the same colors. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let me know if you have both palettes, if you have a preference between one or the other. I do feel like the 39A has a little bit of a smoother texture, at least when I swatch them, and I mean, they worked fine. I've only used it once, but it worked fine. But yeah, just swatching them, I feel like the Morphe 39A, it's a lot smoother and creamier. Yeah, let me know which one you prefer, or do you just don't care? That's okay too. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.